Here are my 2025-2026 riding boards. Three different brands. On the left side of the screen is my Jones 2.0 hovercraft. In the middle is my Arbor Coda. The Jones is 160, the Coda is a 159 wide, and next to it is a Salomon Hook Knife, 159 wide. All these boards are wide. I hope you can see as I move in a little closer here the side profiles and how they are changing, which has to do with the type of turns that they develop. The Arbor board in the middle has a wide section underfoot called Amptech, which is like a magnet traction and 2 points on it. The Jones has a little bit of a more rounded section throughout the board there for a little grip. The Salomon has neither of those. This has a radical type side cut that works somewhat. Now, why is any of this important to you? Even with myself and Ted, all of our boards have different slight designs with a different intended use by the rider. When you pick out a board, you need to know what your intended use is, meaning the type of mountain you're going to be on, the type of snow that you may deal with, the width of the runs that you may be riding more, or are you going to be going in the trees, or are you going to go in the park? All of these are considerations that you need to make in order to make a consumer buy that will make you smile. If not, these boards will make you somewhat disappointed, and you will have a longer learning curve in order to learn the tool rather than manipulate it. And this is something we highly stress throughout this 25-26 season, because we've made lots of bad buys. So our job is to keep you informed. This may be a little bit nerdy to some of you, but it's totally essential when you decide to buy boards for yourself or your children, because the board you buy is based on the outcome you want to achieve and basically where are you starting from. So recommendations would be: learn the board characteristics by the board design, study it a little bit, and you will make a smart purchase instead of one that will not make you happy. Great example, the Jones board on the left will ride most conditions fairly well and stuff. It is primarily more of a powder type board, but it is playful. It has a soft nose, a medium flex, mellow, low camber, which is a great feel. It's a wonderful board. Overall, of the three, it is probably the most all-mountain board of the three, for the purpose being it goes from high to low. Having a slightly longer nose will require a slightly different stance. The Arbor board in the middle is somewhat of a fun board also. The great part is the Amptech underneath the board in the camber zone, but it is a little bit stiffer, obviously, than the Jones. Somewhat soft in the nose, but a stiffer tail due to some of the features I will have mentioned previously, which has to do with the nose rise, tail rise, and the length of camber underfoot and where it starts and where it finishes. When we move over to the hook knife will require you to work a little bit. Because it is more designed for a solid, hard riding, hard charging, more amplitude type board, meaning you will bend it more, you need to be moving faster. It is not a beginning board. The Coda is also not a beginning board. The Jones is also not a beginning board, but the characteristics are like going to a car dealership getting add-ons. Your add-ons need to meet your intended requirements. We're here to help. Ask us questions. We have purchased all the wrong boards. We have done all the wrong things. We are trying to save you time and money, and we charge you nothing for it. We're one of the only channels that actually sets out here because we want to help you for free. People say we give lessons away for free. We don't give lessons. We give tips and pointers according to how you use your body and what type of board you're on. So stay tuned and shred ahead. Okay, so let's get into it. All boards are not created equal. Following these lines along here in the camber lines on top of a solid granite countertop, you can see the changes in camber and where it happens, where it starts and where it ends. Why is this important? Well, you as a consumer want to buy boards. Do you know what board you're buying and what the design and profile of that board is going to give you an outcome when on the mountain? I would say probably not. And we'll look at the tips of these boards. On the bottom is my Jones, and the middle is my arbor, and on top is my hook knife. As we look at the tip area here, we can see the difference in early rise and distance. All three of these boards are basically 160 or within that zone, 159 wide. They're all wides. So the Jones on the bottom has a longer stretch of nose for early rise, but not steep. The arbor is not so steep either, but the hook knife on the top is changing radically to the profile of camber, because it is a twin camber, meaning it depresses in both tip and tail pretty equally, except that it's laying on top of a arbor board, which does not have early rise and stuff in the tail. Backed up now and looking at the profiles of the boards, coming across the nose, you can see that all of them are fairly equal in the distance across the nose, but in fact the arbor board is slightly wider in the nose area and does cover the side walls of my Joneses right up to about this point. At this point, the arbor is still further out over the edge, right through the foot area. The hook knife on top is narrower across the foot than are the other two boards. Coming through the center section, they're all fairly equal in waist width, which is probably about 26.5 or 26.8 possibly. Going all the way back into the tail, again, the hook knife is wider than is the arbor, and it is also wider, both those boards, than the Jones on the bottom. The purpose of this last section is to show you the flex pattern of each board. You'll notice that the Jones board is a little bit softer from nose to tail and has a nice flex for an easy powder ride. The arbor board is a little stiffer in the tail than it is in the nose, as you can see through the demonstrations. And then when we get to the hook knife, you'll see that it bends pretty equal tip to tail. That's because it has a super strong camber zone.